Have you ever walked into a room and just felt it? That immediate sense of ease or maybe unease. What if that feeling wasn't just like a fleeting impression, but something deeper? A real connection to your health, your mind, your spirit. Today we're doing a deep dive into well-being in your personal space. Make it yours and reflect your soul. Our mission really is to unpack this surprising, kind of powerful link between our surroundings, our immediate physical space, and, well, our inner state. We'll explore how these spaces influence everything: mental clarity, emotional harmony, even our physical health. We're going to bring together some ancient wisdom, modern psychological insights, and real-world experiences, all to help you cultivate a personal space that truly nurtures your soul.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We focus so much on diet, on exercise for well-being, right? But what about these less obvious forces, the unseen things right there in our homes? It feels like we get bombarded with advice on what to do with our bodies, but we rarely dig into how the spaces around them might be affecting us.
You've really hit on something crucial there. Yeah, this whole deep dive, it highlights the idea of purification. But not just purifying yourself, but really profoundly purifying your space. It taps into something deep, I think, an innate human desire for harmony, that feeling of ease. It's different for everyone, but we all seek it, We just know when a space feels cared for, and that connection, it resonates with us deeply.
And that sense of ease, it can be totally disrupted by something so common like clutter. Most of us just see it as, visually annoying. But what's really going on underneath when our spaces are just chaotic?
Oh, it's much more than just visual. Actually, research shows a pretty strong link between cluttered environments and higher cortisol levels.
Cortisol, the stress hormone.
Exactly, a physiological stress indicator. Think about it. That visual overload from clutter, it just overstimulates your brain. It makes it incredibly difficult to concentrate or even just relax. Your brain's constantly trying to process everything it sees, which just drains your cognitive energy. So yeah, it can make you less productive, really hinder your focus. There's a lot of truth in those old sayings, a messy home, a messy mind, or cleanliness is next to godliness. These messy, cluttered living spaces, they're really known to create anxiety, depression, even a sense of hopelessness, other negative feelings too.
That connection, the physical clutter and our mental state, yeah. I think a lot of us feel that intuitively. I remember seeing a poll recently, and someone commented they felt so much calmer afterwards, right after cleaning their space. It really shows that immediate emotional shift.
Absolutely. And the impact isn't just psychological either. There are very real, unseen health hazards lurking in our homes. Things that add to that feeling of sluggishness. Take dust, for instance. It builds up way faster than most people realize, and it's constantly circulating in the air, triggering allergies, respiratory issues. Did you know, nearly 100,000 dust mites can live in just 1 square yard of carpet?
Wow, 100,000.
Yeah. Or that a typical used mattress. It can host anywhere from 100,000 up to 10 million mites. They're microscopic, totally invisible, but they contribute to physical fatigue, mental fatigue too.
That's pretty unsettling. Bit gross, actually.
Yeah.
Beyond dust, are there other hidden things subtly undermining our well-being at home?
Indeed. Mold is another big one. Kind of insidious. This fungus, it often goes unseen, right? Quietly building up in places like shower tiles, under sinks, basements, maybe along windows where moisture lingers. It even hides in refrigerators, coffee makers sometimes. And its impact on health, it's being recognized more and more. It contributes to various respiratory problems, systemic issues too. There are studies suggesting a direct correlation, actually, between a cleaner home and better physical health, even longevity, mostly because you're reducing dust, mold, other particles getting into your lungs. It directly translates, really, to less fatigue, more energy day to day.
What's really fascinating to me is how ancient traditions seem to, grasp this stuff ages ago. This understanding of space, it isn't new at all, is it? Ancient cultures knew about the power of environment for thousands of years. It's almost like they instinctively knew what modern science is only now confirming.
Precisely. Look at Feng Shui. It's this ancient Chinese tradition, teaches the sacredness of living spaces. Central to Feng Shui is this concept of qi energy. It's described as a subtle flow, like an electromagnetic energy, that links everything in the universe. And this energy, it directly affects our moods, our emotions, even our physical health. The belief is that our personal qi is always mixing with the qi energy around us, connecting us to our immediate environment and, the whole universe.
Okay, so if our personal qi is always mixing with our environment's qi, how does that energy flow in our homes? And what happens when it gets, stuck?
Right. So in Feng Shui, dust and clutter, they're believed to harbor old qi energy, stagnant energy. It hinders the smooth flow of this vital force, and that depletes our vitality. It's not just about tidiness, see? It's energetic stagnation. Conversely, the purposeful placing of things, a practice often called space clearing, that's said to raise consciousness, create a more sacred atmosphere. There's a quote from Karen Kingston. She's a well-known author on this. She says, "By cleansing your atmospheres, you create a sacredness around you rather than just living at a mundane level. What we've lost in the West is the specialness of things." So this intentional arrangement, it's fundamental to creating good qi.
So it's more than just tidying up. It's also about the actual elements, the colors, the shapes in a space.
That's a key point. Exactly. The 5 elements, or wujing, that's wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, they symbolize different types of qi energy. And they're linked to seasons, directions, even times of day. Feng Shui teaches us how specific shapes, colors, materials, they can be used to sort of manipulate these energies. For example, warm blues and greens. They're considered harmonizing, soothing. They bring that sense of inner peace to our nervous system. But bright reds and oranges, they're highly stimulating, which is precisely why you often see them in fast food logos and decor, right?
Oh, yeah.
It encourages quicker customer turnover. It's a very deliberate design choice using that energy.
That makes so much sense. It's like this invisible language of design happening all around us. And this whole idea of space purification, it's not just in one culture, is it? It seems like it's everywhere, a universal human thing.
You're spot on.
Yeah, the universality is fascinating. You find it deeply embedded in Buddhist rituals, for example. In Japanese Shintoism, there's this profound emphasis on cleanliness, integrating nature. You see it in Jewish washing traditions, in Vedic traditions, using essential oils, even tongue scraping for cleansing. It's a recurring theme globally.
Right.
I remember reading this anecdote about a traveler, someone on a really limited budget, staying in a kibbutz room in Israel. Despite the bare surroundings, they managed to create harmony just by bringing in plants, stones, using natural materials to drape doors, even use berries to stain the wood and walls. And later, in their corporate office job, they transformed their own space into this little retreat center for colleagues, added a Turkish rug, paintings, pottery. People would actually come to their office to talk instead of going to HR because the space just felt warm, had this positive energy. It really shows how profound that impact can be on daily interactions, overall well-being. So, okay, what does this all mean for us today as we're trying to create, a self-care space, something that genuinely supports our mental health? It sounds like we can take these ancient principles and apply them in really modern personal ways.
Absolutely. The modern idea of a self-care space, it's basically a direct descendant of these ancient principles. It's a designated area designed for taking a meaningful break from life. Psychology experts suggest the first step is figuring out what kind of break you actually need. Like, if you're stressed or overwhelmed, you probably need a calming, serene space. But if you're feeling bored or stuck in monotony, maybe you need a high-energy, inspiring one. Your choices, then, the objects, the colors, the elements, they should actively promote that feeling you're aiming for.
That's a great point. Tailoring the space to our specific needs right then. Can you give us some practical tips for building our own little sanctuary?
Certainly. First, think about the location. Try to choose a space that feels a bit distant from your daily reality, separate from others if you can, and ideally, away from your workspace. Next, lighting. Low lighting, string lights, maybe lamps that can really help you slow down, create an ambient, calming glow. For your color palette, go for a grounding palette. Light blue is known to be particularly calming, good for sleep. Warm neutrals, various shades of green, they connect you deeply to nature.
Grounding. I like that.
Yeah. And when it comes to shapes and materials, think about incorporating round or circular shapes in furniture for fluidity, softness, natural materials like wood or stone. They give a really grounded feeling. And placing furnishings low to the ground can also emphasize that sense of peace. And finally, don't forget houseplants. Integrate them. Their benefits are scientifically proven. Mood boosting, creativity increasing, stress reducing, plus they purify the air by absorbing toxins.
It's fascinating how much we hear about the power of color specifically.
Yeah.
How does it go beyond just looking nice into something truly psychological?
It's pretty profound, actually. Color psychology, it studies how colors impact our moods, even our physiological reactions. Now, some effects are subjective, sure, but studies have found universal associations, things that seem to transcend culture. For instance, yellow is widely associated with joy, red often with love or passion, black frequently with sadness. And these color preferences, they influence consumer behavior in really powerful ways. Think about choosing a car color. It often projects a certain personality, right?
Right, like a red sports car versus a
sensible blue sedan.
Exactly. Or painting a room a specific color to intentionally set a mood. A blue car might signal dependability, while red projects power confidence. It's fascinating how deep these associations run in our subconscious.
This whole journey, it seems to lead us naturally towards minimalism, doesn't it? It's not about deprivation, like you said earlier, but more about creating space. Space for what truly nourishes you. I feel like a very modern response to that ancient call for harmony.
That's an excellent way to put it, yeah. Minimalism is really about deliberate simplicity. It's an intentional reduction of possessions, yes, but also distractions, obligations. So you can focus on what really matters, whether that's hobbies, deep connections with people, personal development. It's a powerful counterbalance to just endless consumerism, valuing experiences over just things, quality over quantity. It's about realizing that less doesn't mean lack. It means choosing to have more of what actually enriches your life.
And what about the mental health benefits? Embracing this less is more idea, it seems like it'd have a huge impact on our, cognitive state.
Oh, the benefits are substantial, especially for mental clarity. For one, it leads to reduced stress and mental clarity. Like we talked about, cluttered spaces linked to higher cortisol. Minimalism fosters peace, order. That improves cognitive function, lets your mind focus more intently. It also really helps in overcoming decision fatigue. Think about it. By limiting choices, you conserve huge amounts of mental energy.
Right, not having to decide which of 10 black shirts to wear.
Exactly. You prevent that burnout from constant trivial decisions. In terms of emotional well-being, shifting focus from material things to intangible values, relationships, personal growth, it cultivates mindfulness, gratitude. Leads to more joy, more tranquility. There's also this strong sense of empowerment and purpose. It helps you align your inner values with your outer environment, fosters self-awareness, emotional resilience, and of course, financial freedom is a big one. Focus on essentials. You reduce expenses, build savings, maybe invest in meaningful experiences like travel or learning something new.
It sounds like a really holistic way to live, but how does someone even start that journey, especially when we live in a world that's constantly telling us to get more stuff?
Yeah, it's definitely a process, not some overnight destination. A good start is to clarify your goals. Ask yourself why you want to simplify. Is it to reduce stress, increase focus, save money, make space for experiences? Knowing your why is really your guide. Then move to practical steps. Start by decluttering physical spaces, but start small. A single drawer, maybe one closet shelf. The idea isn't just chucking everything, but keeping only what's genuinely useful or truly brings you joy.
The KonMari method comes to mind.
Exactly, that kind of intentionality. You could even use the one in, one out rule for new purchases just to stop more accumulation. Try to prioritize experiences, travel, quality time with loved ones over just acquiring more things. And don't forget digital minimalism. Clear out unused apps, unsubscribe from junk emails, maybe limit screen time. Streamlining your schedule helps too, frees up mental energy. This lifestyle also naturally promotes sustainability. You reduce waste, tend to choose more durable, long-lasting products.
It sounds incredibly freeing, honestly, yet I can imagine there are hurdles.
Yeah.
What are some common challenges people run into when they try to adopt this?
That's a very real question, yeah. One of the biggest is often emotional attachment to possessions. We form these strong bonds, right, to items that represent memories or people. Makes it hard to let go. Then there's societal pressure, just conforming to consumer norms, and that pervasive just-in-case mentality. Hoarding things because we might need them someday.
Oh, I'm guilty of that one.
We all are, I think. And yeah, just the sheer effort involved. Decluttering an entire home can feel overwhelming. But it's important to remember the profound benefits. They usually outweigh these challenges in the end, and it's gradual. It's a process, not a sudden flip. There's a concept that puts it beautifully. The art of cleaning is a simple spiritual activity. Without the practice of cleaning, there can be no empty space. No space for a deep communion with the sacred. This whole approach, it isn't about rigid rules. It's about creating that sacred, nurturing space for your soul.
Wow. Okay, so we've taken quite a deep dive today into how profoundly our personal spaces really influence our well-being. From the literal dust we breathe to the colors we choose, the clutter we accumulate, it all matters. I think the core lesson here is that our homes, they aren't just structures. They're energetic fields, almost mirrors of our inner state, and being intentional about curating them. That's a direct path to greater harmony, clarity, peace. You just know when a space feels good, don't you?
You really do.
It's a feeling that resonates deep inside, like an inner knowing. So as you reflect on your own personal space, maybe consider this insight. The universe shows us in every way it can provide everything we need to know for our journey through life. And there's that Zen poem too. Bamboo shadows sweep the stairs.
but no dust is stirred. Moonlight penetrates the depths of the pool, but no trace is left in the water. What small, intentional step will you take this week to infuse your personal space with the energy that truly reflects your soul?